The limitation of the choice. I will say how Paramahamsa Ramakrishna said. The field of your choice is just like a cow tied to a pillar. As much as you can go around, that is the choice what you have. And imagine you have only that restricted choice, you know. But yet, that restriction choice, how powerful it is. That make you think that you are this, you are that. Make you think that all your decision and everything is based only onto this limitation. More than that you can't see. More than that your mind don't perceive you to see also. And imagine how many of in this world people base their life onto this limitation only. And then people say, yes, we are happy. How many really find true happiness? Not many find true happiness. Because true happiness is very often just in front of you. You don't perceive it. You go and look for it elsewhere when something which is just in front of you. There were once a man, of course he had the choice in his life, he had the feeling inside of him, he wanted to live a spiritual life. But at the same time, the mind said, no, I want to make money. So he decided to follow his mind. So he worked throughout his life. He worked for 50 years. So after 50 years of working, he have amassed lots of money. Then he said, now I will enjoy my money. So when the time for him to enjoy the money come, the same moment, the feeling which he have closed within his heart, deep inside, for so many years about his spiritual path, awake. And it was so strong, that feeling, that he said, I must look for my spiritual path now. So having this feeling, he distributed all his wealth to his children. And he said, he kept some for him. He went in the desert, and he had a small house. And inside that house, throughout years, all the spiritual books which he have collected with him, he took with him. So in the desert, of course, you can't just sit there. You have to eat also. So he inquired to the nearby town for a cook. So as the word goes around, a cook present himself, a man, present himself. But before the cook say any word, he said to the cook, listen, I'm here on my spiritual path, and I don't want to be disturbed. Talk to me only when you have to talk to me. Apart from that, don't talk to me. Just do your work, cook, and that will be. The man agreed. So here this man, the merchant, he was a businessman. This merchant start his spiritual search, by studying all the books. It took him 7 years. After 7 years, he realized that whatever he have read doesn't make any sense for him. He need a guru. He need a spiritual teacher. So he said, after 7 years, he went around looking for his spiritual teacher. He went from one monastery to the other, one saint to the other. He was unsatisfied. Because you see, when you read lots of books, in your mind, you have a certain image and a certain understanding how a guru must be. You have a certain criteria, So, of course, in his mind, whoever he have met, it doesn't bother about him. So after searching for quite a long time, he finally found a man, with a long beard, skinny like Gandhi, with a long robe, with a rosary, had a japamala in his hand, walking. After observing him, said, this is my master. They run towards him. The man said, what do you want? The holy man said, what do you want? He said, falling down on his knees, and he said, I want to be your disciple. Then the holy man said, but I must ask my master first if I can take you as my disciple. I said, yes, go and ask your master. But there's a problem. I've been searching for my master since 7 years. He disappeared. So I must search for him. Then once I met him, if whatever he said, I will follow. So the merchant proposed to the holy man, I will come with you searching for your master. But can you please tell me, how does your master look like? Said, yes, he's skinny. Well, he don't wear the upper clothes. He wear only the dhoti down. Then when he said that, he said, can you please come to my house? So he said, yes. So they went to his house. The moment the man entered the house, the cook came with a towel on his shoulder. The moment the holy man saw the cook, he fell, prostrate himself long in front of him. To his amazement, I said, who is he? He said, he is my master. And the man said, Master, where have you been all this time? The master said, I've been cooking for him. It took me 7 years to make him realize that he needed a teacher. So the holy man said, Master, what can I do? He wants me to teach. He's still looking for a teacher. Then the master said, listen, teach him. I have other work to do. So, you see, this is the same with everybody. This is the same with a mind which is deorganized. When your mind is deorganized, you keep searching for something which is in front of you. Due to that deorganized mind, you don't see the reality. This is the same with a choice, you see. You have this limited choice, but yet you make always the wrong choice. You know? Because you think whatever you know, it is right. And as long as you think that you are right, you have not yet mastered the mind. Your mind is still deorganized. So whatever choice you make within that deorganized mind will not lead you anywhere. You understand? So this is the same with, firstly, that mind must change.